Well, I mean, have you seen them?
Yes, but Kool-Aid pickles are not that
I mean, they're
interesting.
soaked in like Kool-Aid
That's
juice.
disgusting.
That sounds real like any kind. You could do grape.
I usually see the cherry. I see the cherry ones are the most famous.
Cherry.
They had them at my county fair.
Wait,
fruit punch. I don't know. They're just colorful.
Cherry.
We could do lemonade. Not a Kool-Aid, but they've got a lemonade Kool-Aid flavor.
Orange Kool-Aid is the best.
Ooh, orange. The mystery white flavor that they think is mystery, but it's really
blue raspberry.
That.
Oh, is it really?
I don't know. Honestly.
Airheads, and.
I like things.
Hi, I'm Brayton.
Hi, I'm Brandon.
I'm Bryson.
Hi, I'm Nick.
And today, we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
You know, I'm going to be honest. I didn't know Brandon started recording. Hi, I'm Kyle.
Yeah, that's kind of how we do things here. I just sort of...
So now it's I like things. Okay.
Unedited and uncut.
That's how we do things.
Just like me.
And you know what? Just for that, get out. You're not welcome in this podcast anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Get out.
Bye, guys.
He's actually leaving, by the way.
No,
I'm not.
No, actually leave.
Why do I have to actually leave?
Either you have to leave or you have to give me your shirt so I can recycle it.
You want
my shirt?
That shirt doesn't belong in the recycling bin. It belongs in ashes.
All right, here we go.
Oh, he just ripped it.
He just ripped Brayton's shirt and he threw it across.
Oh my gosh!
Threw it across the room
I want to
into
take
the
Brandon
trash can.
for my March Madness tournament now.
little note. Hey!
I have to get my shirt out of the trash can.
You're not welcome here.
You said Just for the record, that's the third day in a row Brandon has thrown my shirt away.
Also, we say
deserve it.
unedited, but we've edited before, and we're gonna have to edit in the future if you keep saying your favorite word.
What is your favorite word, Bryson?
I'm sorry, guys. Okay.
His favorite word is
Bleached asshole.
Could you ASMR it for me, please?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right.
That is not my favorite cuss word, by the way. It's the 4-letter word that starts with a C. You're welcome.
Can't?
No.
All right, we're bleaching that episode, or that part. What time is that? I think that's like 2:26 on the timestamp. Yeah, I'm going to mark that down when I edit this.
We're going to have to keep a record of the earliest.
2:26. Bryson says...
You know, wait, no, leave it in there and Emily will wash his mouth out with soap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Not the first
still
time.
think we should let her know.
I'll edit it, I'll repeat it, and make a small wrap around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That will make her wash your mouth out with soap.
Oh, that's fine. I like how soap
Or just
tastes.
his mouth all
I prefer Dove soap.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll get Selsun Blue. That's shampoo.
I heard Irish Spring is the worst soap to eat. Just say.
You know that's the kind she'll bring.
Kyle,
what?
Please don't slam your phone on the table.
No phone's on the table.
It's not that no phones, it's just you're bouncing the mic. I will get the Bible.
Okay.
Anyway, so we're not here to talk about soap.
No.
We're here to talk about Star Wars, boys.
That's why they brought me.
Well,
we're not here to talk about soap. And there goes Nick.
Let's be real, Brayton. You don't use
we're in the dark now.
soap.
I use body gel, thank you very much. It's apple scent.
What do you wash your hands with?
Okay, Kyle, can you back up?
What do you wash your hands with?
Much better. I can't wait to edit. Hold on, let me mark that down. That's like 341.
You're supposed to...
To you.
Okay.
Because that right there, I thought it was beautiful. They're not good. It's beautiful.
I'm sorry, headphone users.
Kyle is
all
a
of our
loud
12
boy.
subscribers,
including me.
Our 12 subscribers, one of which is Kyle, 2 of which is us. I still haven't subscribed to us.
That means to the 9 of you that we're actually
I don't
talking
listen to them. I just like to support it, and it's easier to find if I'm just.
And you can follow us on Twitter at 491Mike, Instagram. At
Not yet.
Don't have an Instagram.
Yet.
Don't have an Instagram. Don't know what that is.
You mean I made you guys an entire social media plan for my PR class, and that you don't have an Instagram?
Wait, you made us a social media
Yes, I
plan?
did.
Wait, you actually did that?
Why didn't we hire Kyle?
Why didn't we hire Kyle?
We don't have money. Also, Kyle doesn't have a very good track record with managing things. I mean,
You lost
my
the campaign because
I
you
don't
were
think it
a
was
terrible
him that you
candidate.
lost, though.
That's not Star Wars.
That's not Star Wars. Okay.
No, okay, we're here to talk about Star Wars.
I brought an entire list of things to talk about.
Perfect.
Because-
Now, Bryson, do you like Star Wars?
I love Star Wars.
Do you know bits about it?
I know lots of bits about
And we know Kyle likes Star Wars.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
And he's got a lot of it because he's our guest. And Nick, do you like Star Wars?
I love Star Wars.
Do you know bits about it?
I do know bits.
I also know bits and like Star Wars. Brayton, how much do you know about Star Wars?
you guys remember that animated show that was on Disney XD with Ahsoka? It's the only Star Wars I actually know about.
Although the Clone Wars is such a good show.
Is it Clone Wars?
It wasn't on Disney XD.
No, there was one on Cartoon Network and then there was one on Disney
Oh,
XD.
Cartoon Network was Disney. Well, okay, Disney XD was Rebels.
Okay, yeah.
I liked Rebels.
Okay, Rebels is good.
Wasn't
First
Ahsoka in
season's-
that?
Yes, she's in it.
Brayton,
One
what are you still doing here?
Second favorite.
I don't know.
Star Wars character.
Get out.
I'm gonna go eat my pudding.
Go eat your
Okay.
pudding and leave.
I'll join later.
Okay. See, really what I wish is me and
Hi,
Nick
guys.
and Brandon was there. We had like a 30-minute long conversation at a theater conference about Star Wars
That's
in our
true.
hotel room. And I wish we could just copy and paste that to what we're about
yeah.
to talk about, because most of what we talk about is what I wrote down.
Okay, cool.
No, it'll be good because we'll just rehash it. It'll be great.
Okay.
It's good business
Plus, I'm
marketing.
here, so it's
Yeah.
better.
It's good
If not,
business,
that's
taking
okay,
what we
too.
do every episode and rehashing it, which is what we've done for like 3 times with Marvel.
Mhm.
And what we're gonna do again when we get Miss Marvel, because everyone else has seen it and I haven't.
Yeah, Brandon.
is gonna die in Endgame.
Hey, we're staying away.
We
We're
should
staying away from Marvel. Staying away from Marvel.
We're still under the Disney properties, but we're
Yeah.
in another realm.
Also, no, he doesn't.
Okay.
So Star Wars, Kyle, you got a list of topics.
I think the most basic thing to start to talk about is, because I know in the limited amount we've talked about Episode 7 and Episode 8, we all have varying opinions about how much we like Episode 7 versus Episode 8 versus the rest of the trilogy.
Yeah.
And my opinion is the one that makes everyone angry.
What is your opinion?
My opinion is I liked Episode 8 far better than Episode 7.
I am on the same damn boat.
I
Let the record
enjoyed both.
Let the record show Nick has changed his hairstyle.
I did.
Yeah, you moved all of your hair over.
Okay.
I like both of them. I think 7 was a little bit stronger, but only in that it had it kind of had a redirection that I really liked.
Yeah.
With like the Finn and Rey,
Mhm.
like, whatever
Relationship?
vocabulary word you want to put there. Not relationship, but like
Bond.
we thought like going in
Yeah.
Finn would be, and then that turned
That
out
was
to be wrong.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Which I liked.
Oh, the bait and switch in Episode
Yeah.
7.
So
Yeah.
I think that that twist
Which
is what
Okay.
puts it above.
Yes.
Disney loves to do.
Yeah.
And we've seen it happen in Marvel.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
We've
all the
seen
time.
it, and I think that's part of the reason we haven't gotten anything for Episode 9 yet. And I think that's supposed to come in the middle of April. I think the first teaser.
Oh, the teaser.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the
Um,
movie.
Teaser,
No.
teaser,
No.
Could you
teaser, at least
imagine?
a title or a poster?
Mm-hmm.
Because Star Wars Celebration is later this summer. So
Yeah.
We haven't gotten the title even.
no,
And
we haven't got that yet.
What if in Episode 9, Kylo Ren becomes the main character?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, isn't he already?
Because-
he is the Skywalker
I
legacy of this.
I
of this
think he's going to be
series.
the primary protagonist for
Like,
episode 9.
I honestly just have thought, and it's a theory that I'm going to go into later, and I think I want Episode 9 to be named something very specifically.
Okay.
But yeah, episode 8 to me, it rang better. It rang truer. Because the thing people got mad about was the Yo Mama joke at the beginning. People hated that. And I understand why, and I get it. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to give Poe Dameron almost like a Han Solo-esque
Mm-hmm.
kind of personality. But I think people got too hung up on they wanted Poe Dameron to be Han Solo, and he's not. He's a
Oh yeah.
completely
And
different person.
I think that the direction they went with Poe in Last Jedi is still really like unique, and because he has an arc and he has his own individual like individuality,
Mm-hmm.
who he is. I think they portrayed it well, and I think another thing to really think about is people were mad at that not only because of like the Han Solo comparison, but also like you never would have heard anyone else in Star Wars say anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also showing that there's been passage of time, which is a huge part of like, because like, so Luke was young and now he's old. Like, imagine the young people who played like on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah. They have different opinions about video games than like we do now.
I think like that's something to consider with like especially this new trilogy is like this isn't our Star Wars. I mean, like, at least not to the same extent. Like, this is like the Star Wars that like there's going to be some kid who's watching the same movies we're watching, and like this is going to be his Han Solo or his Luke, just like that sort of idea. And so I think like that's something to consider, like, because to us we have the like we're old enough that we have the original trilogy, and you know we meme the prequels to hell.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You said it's like their Star Wars, and I was like, did Phantom Menace come out in 1999?
I think it was around.
It was 90.
I was fresh out the womb.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest. We don't necessarily like have a Star Wars.
That's true.
If you think about it, our Star Wars was Rogue One. That's what we got.
Rogue One was so good,
which I do like Rogue One. I also really like Solo.
Yes.
'Cause Solo definitely feels like the college years of Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's like just fucking that. Although I identify as my Star Wars is KOTOR, but I just love KOTOR.
Brandon, I think you had a good point on when saying that this is a Star Wars 4, and I know J.J. Abrams, when he was going into writing the Episode 7, he was doing it for a new generation. He wasn't doing it. He was doing it for a new generation and the previous, and then more to come. So yeah, we're raised with the Star Wars, and even George Lucas, when he created Star Wars, he said it was for 12-year-olds. It was for kids originally. Now it just gained a huge amount of fans. That I agree with Kyle that Episode 8 is better than 7, but 7 had met a lot of benchmarks that were needed to become so successful.
And a lot of people gripe on 7 for being basically Episode 4, just rehashed. But I think that was good for them. It was like, this is still Star Wars. This is a story you guys know. We're going to reuse a few elements to get you readjusted. And then Episode 8, with the exception of the end scene, really, it was very, very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was something completely new, which I think that's also part of the reason people necessarily weren't the happiest with it. They're looking at it as like, this is what we know. This is the formula we like. This is what I expect you to do. And 8 didn't necessarily do that. And I think it's really weird because people get caught in Hollywood has no new ideas versus Hollywood's just making sequels. And I think in 8, Rian Johnson tried to have a new idea in a sequel, and we saw how people really viewed that, and it wasn't necessarily the most positive thing for the general public. Like, there were GoFundMes to just knock Episode 8 out of the canon, which was ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And another thing that people didn't like was Rose.
I thought Rose is a fine character. I don't
perfect
dislike
character for
her.
this. And you know, obviously there was a hint towards a possible relationship with Finn. That's interesting because you always see Star Wars trying to plant the seed.
Romance has always been like a key part of Star Wars. There were Han Solo and Leia. Fucking Anakin and
they
what was her name? Padme.
And they
how the fuck did I forget that?
One.
They love to do it in the second episode of a trilogy.
Yeah,
they do. And I'm so glad that it did not fall into the trap of Episode 2, where half the movie was like,
you mean you didn't like Anakin and Padme jumping around in
those are my
field
least
of
favorite
flowers
moments of Star Wars.
Guys, I hate sand. It's coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere.
But something I think is important is that every Star Wars, up until Episode 7, which rehashed Episode 4, each one had something unique about it that made it seem like, okay, we're going to touch on this genre, this genre, this genre. I think the prequels were definitely more political, especially the first one. The first one was a political movie. The second one was a romance, and then the third one was like basically a revenge drama.
Mm-hmm. I do like episode 3.
Episode 3, good. Yeah. What?
Episode 3, good.
Episode 3 is good.
It is.
So each movie is unique, and I think episode 8 was unique in the sense that we don't really know how to describe it. Mm-hmm. It's a Star Wars movie, but I don't think we can necessarily say, oh, it's a Star Wars movie, because each one is different. Like Rogue One was very different. It was like Rogue One kind of spoke to me on a level of like a military drama.
Yeah.
It very much has those vibes of Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And then Solo was like a heist movie.
Yes.
So
I do like Solo though.
Yeah.
Solo's great.
So we have all these different like ideas that are coming into this world of Star Wars, and that's exactly why, is because it's a world, and different situations happen, and not every situation is going to call for the same thing. So we were talking the other day, Bryson, in episode 8, 2 lightsabers never clash.
Yes, that is correct.
Which is the first time that's happened in a Star Wars movie.
Episode 1, yes.
With the exception of Rogue One.
Which didn't really have.
Yeah.
Like, I think the only
lightsaber we see is Vader's.
Yeah, the only lightsaber we see is Vader's. So.
And he slaughters rebels.
And he kills people.
Oh, so
best scene in all of Star Wars. I will argue that.
I will say the first time I saw it, I got goosebumps watching that scene. I was like, oh, boys, it's time. Y'all are fucked.
I was clenching my jaw and holding onto my seat because I was so excited.
So, and I think that's good because it's shown us that Star Wars has come a long way. Like, it used to be, what do you think of when you think of Star Wars? You think of lightsabers, blasters, and the Force. Now we're seeing that those things are still there, but we don't need to rely on them. The Force we kind of need to rely on. But everything else is just secondary to the world.
And the thing for me is, you said episode 8 didn't have a definition. I firmly believe, and I've said this and I'll say it again, episode 8 will be defined by episode 9.
Yeah.
If episode 9 cleans up what people didn't like about 8, if episode 9 is as good as I think it's going to be, and I have so much faith in episode 9, it's ridiculous. I think they're going to hit us with something we really just don't expect. And I think even episode 7 is going to be defined by episode 9. Because if you look at it, you go back and you look at the prequels and you go, personally, people hate 1 more than they hate 2. In general, I hate 2 more than I hate 1. Episode 2, to me, it just doesn't cut it, except for the last, half an hour.
Yeah,
maybe.
I went back and I rewatched episode 1, by the way, a few weeks back. It's actually not as bad as I remember.
It's really not.
It's actually, there's a lot of, maybe just, Qui-Gon Jinn, because I just really like Qui-Gon Jinn.
Oh, yeah.
And Liam Neeson does great in that role.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, Obi-Wan is really good. I remember...
McGregor is just...
Yeah, well, I mean... The entirety of the trilogy. Ewan McGregor. Did I pronounce that right?
Ewan
McGregor is just amazing in the trilogy. I forget where I was going with this. Episode 1 is actually really good.
Yeah.
Episode 2 has 2 moments. And one of those is the big Jedi battle where all the Jedi are fighting.
Oh, yeah.
That's the big just oh hell yeah, brother, it's time.
And the thing for me is, we looked at episode 1, and a lot of people, like I said, didn't think it was great. We look at episode 2, but I think what cleaned it up is episode 3. We define the prequels by what happened in episode 3. We define the prequels as Anakin's story, as him turning in that movie. We define the prequels by Anakin's actions in that movie. And there's so many, I feel homages to the 2 movies that came before it. I was just thinking about that, and when Anakin goes and slaughters the younglings, I see a lot of similarities in the youngling, the blonde youngling, who's in the front, to how Anakin looked as a child.
Yeah,
and they're just mirrors, and they're saying, listen, we're tying this up.
There's a lot of when you really look into the details of the the prequel trilogy, there's a lot of shit in there. I know the big one for me, because I saw episode 1 and I'm still trying to get through episode 2, rewatching that, because
it's hard.
It's hard.
Watch,
Episode 1 actually has the lightsaber battle between Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Darth Maul, like, is literally a conversation. Like, literally, it's them all talking to each other through a lightsaber battle. And there's even, like, moments where, like, the force field comes up and Darth Maul's like, can I touch it? And he touches it with his lightsaber. He's like, oh, nope, that's not going to work. Or the, like, him seething as he waits for the barriers to go down and Obi-Wan trying to bash through and Qui-Gon's just like, I'm going to meditate, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so cool.
And I really think the Clone Wars were meant to clean up what questions we had from episode 1 and episode 2 and what happened in between episode 2 and 3, obviously. I think the Clone Wars is very solid.
Well, I mean,
TV
like,
show.
the whole... You can basically trace back everything that went wrong with Anakin to Qui-Gon Jinn. Because, okay, hear me out on this one, right? So Qui-Gon Jinn has Obi-Wan as his Padawan. He goes, by the end of this, by the end of episode 1, he's like, we should train Anakin because it's the prophecy. And Yoda's like, no, we really shouldn't. And Qui-Gon's like, well, screw you, I'll teach him. And he goes, you already got a Padawan. And he just goes, no, I think Obi-Wan's ready. Which I took when I rewatched it as him being like, I really need to teach Anakin, so we're just going to assume Obi-Wan is correct.
Yeah.
When Obi-Wan really still has a lot to learn. He's still just like straight by the books of the Jedi, whereas Qui-Gon is super chill. Had Qui-Gon lived through episode 1 and have actually become Anakin's master, then Anakin might have like felt... I don't know the term I'm looking for, might have felt comfortable telling Qui-Gon that he was having feelings for Padme, which could have stopped everything if Qui-Gon would have been like, yeah, that's fine, or hey, maybe don't do that, or I don't know, but like,
I think go ahead.
And I think that's really interesting because before, I'm not sure if it's Legends or canon, but at the time of implementation it was canon. The reason one of the reasons Qui-Gon Jinn is so jaded is he had a relationship with another Jedi and she died. And basically they told him there was nothing he could do about it. And that's part of the reason he became so jaded. And I think there would have been a mirror there. And that's also why Qui-Gon had to die. I'm gonna let you talk now before I bring up my next thing.
He brought up, like, Anakin may have been this. I think the whole Skywalker line really defines why everyone is kind of wrong about the Jedi and how the Force works, because like there are like set things that you know, but there's also the idea of like every single character in the Skywalker line has been drawn to the dark side.
Yeah,
and now you could argue that that's just the nature of the dark side, but you also are led to believe that there are pure, like, Jedis who, like, it doesn't faze them at all. And I think Luke is definitely, well, without a doubt, the purest of, like, the three. But he still has that draw.
He definitely still has that draw. I think it's Legends now, but there was a time where I think Luke actually went, like, semi-dark side for a bit. In I think it was a comic book, which is not canon anymore by far. But
I would even say, like, because even in episode 8, like Luke is still, he's not necessarily drawn to the dark side.
Yeah.
But he had his moments, like when he had the thought of trying to kill Kylo Ren for really no other reason than he was scared.
When you mention the Skywalker, like each Skywalker has been drawn to the dark side, I think that's, and of course, fulfilling the prophecy of being the chosen one. And the Clone Wars, and this is probably getting very deep in lore, and I'm sure Kyle knows this, but a true like balance is having a balance of dark and light. Yes. That is the chosen one, and so. And we get it kind of. I recently rewatched Last Jedi a few weeks ago, and I noticed that they were hinting at this when Rey is meditating with Luke, and she can feel both sides. She can see life and death and darkness and creation, and that is in the Legends. They were called Gray Jedi. They walked the line between dark and dark and light, but that term is currently not canon. But the most canon character that would fit that term is Ahsoka as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
She left the Jedi Order because they thought she killed someone, and so they banished her. But then they wanted to come back after they proved that she wasn't the killer. But she decided to leave because she kind of lost track of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And then we see her come back in Rebels, where she has these white lightsabers. Very cool. If you've not seen Rebels, see it. But she has these white lightsabers. She's killed an Inquisitor that had red crystals and purified them of the dark side, which is cool. That's why they're white. And so she's the most dark light side character we have that walks that path, and that is the true balance that I really haven't seen in Star Wars. I see it a seed there in 8, but I would like to see it come full circle in 9.
Yeah, and I think 8 shows us the redefinition of what the Jedi will be, not what it is. Because I've heard a lot of people theorize that the Jedi is going to end, but then there's Luke's monologue in Episode 8 where he's everything you said was wrong, yada yada yada, and I am not the last Jedi.
Yeah.
Because he obviously believes that there needs to be this balance. So I think that path is where the Jedi idea is going to go from here on out.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna finally get into my theory, especially now that we're talking about the Grey Jedi. I don't think Anakin was the chosen one.
I don't think Anakin was the chosen one.
The more and more I look at things, the more I go, Anakin was not the chosen one. Anakin was an over-emotional man who ended up doing the right thing in the end.
What's the saying is if you ask George Lucas, it's Anakin, but if you ask fans, it's Luke.
I don't think Luke's the chosen one.
I don't either.
I think that, and this goes into what I want Episode 9 to be titled, because it'll put the perfect bow on the Skywalker series if one of the Skywalkers was supposed to be the chosen one. Episode 9, the chosen one. And I think, and I've had this theory, and I've seen videos on YouTube talking about it. I'm going to go into it. Basically, the way I'm seeing it is that Ben Solo did have both light and dark in him. And for Snoke to corrupt him, Snoke ended up taking the light out of him and banishing it to some part of the universe. And that's probably when Luke started to notice and everything started to happen. This would go into Rey being born. I think that Ben Solo is supposed to be the dark part and Rey is supposed to be the light part. And I think they're both so susceptible to the other because of how pure they are in that way. Because when you see something for example, if you had, this is just going to be dumb, when you have water and you put food coloring into it, once you start putting the food coloring into it, it starts to turn. And I think because we've talked about possibly Rey going to the dark side, we've talked about Ben Solo, Kylo Ren going to the light side, and I think they're going to meet in the middle, and I think they're going to be the first two Grey Jedis. And I really do. I think that is how you have to put the bow on it. And what people ask is then who's going to be the villain in Episode 9?
Ooh, I have an answer. And
I know you have an answer, but for me, it's I don't think this is something that just happens in the first half an hour. I don't think, Rey and Ben Solo at Kylo Ren, I'd call him Ben Solo all the time, are going to be, buddy-buddy in the first half an hour. I think it's going to take a loss. I think it's going to take something happening, which might be why Carrie Fisher's still alive.
Yeah.
I think the structure of the movie is going to be, because I don't know how long it's supposed to be, but I would imagine they're probably going to make it a bigger epic, and it's probably, I think the structure is going to start with there's a new call to action.
Yes.
Rey has to disembark once again, because I think she's going to get her own lightsaber. I think there's going to be a small journey for that.
I
would not be surprised to see a
recall reading somewhere that in terms of toys and licensing and whatever, Luke's lightsaber has been renamed Rey's lightsaber.
Yeah, I'm still doubtful.
So it's split half in Episode 8. We know that. Then she still has the remains left when they're on the Millennium Falcon. She also has the books from the
that's
Jedi Temple.
yeah. I guess that's true. Yeah.
So there could be notes in there on how to craft a new
On how to
lightsaber,
build a lightsaber.
or fix the one she
and
already
that's a good tie-in to KOTOR if they wanted to make a KOTOR
But there's
trilogy.
also the issue currently that the crystal is split.
Yes. So she would have to get a new crystal, and I'm blanking on the name of the crystals.
Kyber?
Kyber crystals. Yes, thank you. So there's a specific planet that Jedi go to. I cannot remember.
I
It's in
think
the
it's
Clone
Tython.
Wars. Tython. Okay.
Yeah, at least in KOTOR, it's
Yeah,
Tython.
it's definitely
That's where
it's definitely in
Jedi
the Clone
hang out.
Wars because there's an arc where these small Padawans go and get their lightsabers. Very good. Couple episodes. So we might see her do that, but I honestly don't think we'll see that journey. I think there'll be a large time jump. I think there has to be, considering the rebellion can fit in the Millennium Falcon.
I think I don't necessarily think. I think we're going to see very little of that journey. I still think we're going to see it. I think there's going to be fan service in it, definitely, because I feel like someone's going to be there. And like I've made the joke that like, oh, it's going to be Mace Windu. Like I don't think it will.
I would not be surprised to see Darth Maul.
That'd be interesting.
I don't know how he would still be alive, but I would not be
I
surprised.
want to throw something out there, just like real quick, because I just had this thought. Is Ahsoka still alive during this time period?
I love that you asked that, and I don't want to spoil anything for Kyle because he hasn't seen Rebels.
So she's not.
I don't know what to do.
Go ahead.
So first of all, we're not going to see Darth Maul. I'll tell you that. That's definitely a no-go.
Because Darth Maul came back with spider legs and then got killed again.
Rebels resolves
But
that.
we saw him in. That's true. And
We
saw him in
we
Solo.
see him in Solo. Solo takes
But that
place between
should
episode
resolve that.
4, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
And
I
then
forgot about that. Yeah.
around the same time as Solos. Yeah, in the same time as Solo. Ahsoka is currently a loose end. I will put it at that. But I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
I think. I highly doubt, because like that's a good idea. I think that is like a really strong.
Because I just had the thought of like, you want to tie in Rebels, Clone Wars into like the current trilogy,
but that's why I don't think it'll happen.
would be a really
And
good
that would be
tie-in.
the so funny thing, because if you guys remember when the Clone Wars first came out, people hated Ahsoka with
Yeah.
a passion.
Yeah.
And if they bring her in the last of the Skywalker trilogy to tie everything up, I don't know how people are going to react to it. I know how I react to it. I'd stand up and clap.
Alternatively, I would also be okay if it was like someone who was taught by Ahsoka, even if they just name dropped her. She was like an apprentice who's just like, oh, my master was Master Ahsoka, formerly of the Jedi Order, and it would be like the perfect like, oh shit.
I really want to see a Force Ghost
Yes.
appear.
Oh, I think we'll see.
When she does get her lightsaber. And there's one person in particular I want it to be, and it's Anakin.
Yeah.
Anakin, really?
Yes.
Bring Hayden Christensen back.
I'm pretty positive Luke is going to be a Force Ghost. I think.
Yeah, I think
without a
he
doubt.
I
very
just
much
don't
becomes
think
one.
he'd be in that point.
Yeah.
I think possible Force ghosts that could appear, especially if Rey goes on this journey to get her
All
lightsaber.
of them?
Well, there's a lot of them, but I don't think all of them. Like I could see Anakin and Luke. If Luke were to like somehow die, I could see Yoda.
Okay.
This might just be because I like him so much. I would love if Qui-Gon showed up. I doubt it would be Qui-Gon.
He is the first person to learn
figured
to
out how to do
Force
it.
Ghost.
I would love if Qui-Gon showed up and was like, yo, I'm going to teach you how to build a lightsaber. And I'd be like, oh, hell yeah.
I think like that scene will play out. Like I think it'll be like in the first like 30, 40 minutes. And this is going off of my basis of I think the movie will be 2.5 hours.
Yeah. It's going to be that.
Yeah. So that happens in the first like 30 to 40 minutes. We do not see her get the lightsaber, and I don't think we will see it until like much late, like at least the third act, and she'll pull it out to fight. Going back, because I just want to like confirm something you said, because I didn't quite understand. So do you think Rey was born from the light?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think they're both so susceptible. Oh my gosh, words are hard today. So susceptible to the other.
Yeah. I really like that idea. I'm worried about it,
Mhm.
especially being this late.
Yeah.
Like, if it would have come in at, like, the end of Last Jedi, like, we learned that.
Yeah.
I think it may have been a bit more powerful, just because you also have to go off of the basis of, okay,
Mhm.
now Rey's gonna probably go off and not be okay, because she's won't think she's a real person.
What color do you think Rey's lightsaber is going to be? Because
What
on the
color
one
do I
hand,
think it'll be, or
on-
what do...
what color do you think it'll be, and what color do you want it to be? Because I have a feeling it's going to be blue.
It's
but
gonna be blue.
I would
It's-
love if it showed up and it was just like, here's a gray lightsaber. And I'd be like, how interesting.
I think it'll be blue. I wouldn't be surprised if it was green. I think
Just
it'll be
'cause, like-
blue, but I want it to be yellow or
I think
I
it
would
might
love
be green.
yellow would be
Gray.
good too.
I think a good color to kind of tie in this idea of like the true balance would be purple.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we've only seen that really once
With
Mhm.
Mace Windu.
with Mace Windu, which is another reason I was kind of
Mhm.
like it'd be cool if Mace Windu was there.
Mhm.
And Samuel L. Jackson would easily say
Oh
yes.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson would probably be into it.
I do have an interesting question that I want to bring up because is Star Wars Battlefront 2 canon?
Yes, it is. The story is canon.
So are we going to see Iden Verso's daughter in the movie?
Mm.
Because they jumped. They heard the distress beacon.
Yeah.
They jumped. And for me, that would be something that's so interesting because that would be. I can't confirm this for sure because I don't know. And there's been movies made off of video games, but I don't know. Has there ever been a video game that led something directly into a movie?
Well,
Star Wars Battlefront 2 is the first Star Wars game that's had story that's canon.
Yeah.
yeah,
And so
I mean, when you take out everything that used to be canon, I
yeah,
mean,
because like
I'm counting the 501st as canon. I don't.
technically Republic Commando was at one point canon,
yeah.
and it has one of the coolest storylines.
Well, they brought
that
that.
I'll play
the
that
Force
on.
Unleashed.
If I recall correctly, Republic Commando
We'll get to that.
kind of led to something that was canon. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not canon anymore, so I mean, like,
Well, there's Republic Commandos in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
mhm.
Um,
because in the game Republic Commando, because eventually after that there was like a whole novel series based on it. They're the ones who stop Order 66 happening to one particular
Mhm.
Jedi and let that Jedi go free. That they eventually die. I forget who. It was some girl. I can't remember her name, but she ended up dying
Yeah.
anyways. But it's technically canon, but I don't think it ever like led into the movies.
Because for me, like, seeing what happens to Jakku, oh my gosh, I apologize again. Seeing what happens to Jakku and knowing that, they want us to know that.
Mhm.
Like, they want to know the Battle of Jakku came for this reason.
Mhm.
And I think them just jumping into Lightspeed and going towards the distress beacon, like, it actually gave me goosebumps. I was like, so they're going to be in the next movie, right? Like, they have to be, at least to me.
Also, just something because we're talking about video games right now. So Lucasfilm's Games is
Yes,
back.
they've-
Disney recreated
they've
Lucasfilm's Games,
revived
which is
it.
Oh, really?
yeah. And I bring this up because there's something I really want to talk about, and it's my KOTOR in
Do you
me.
want Star Wars: The Clone Wars episodes 7, 8, and 9?
Mm,
I just want the Force Unleashed to be canon.
It's not gonna happen.
Okay, yes. Galen Merrick.
Yeah.
mhm.
I want him to be canon more than I want to have children.
I really
Okay.
like the idea of Starkiller being canon.
How badly do you want children?
I wanted to be a dad since I was like 4. So, literally, like, Galen Merrick is playing the Star Wars The Force Unleashed games when I was a kid, blew my damn mind. I love those games. I think Galen Merrick's such an interesting character. Of course, you can't make the games canon. Because then that messes with the Shock T stuff,
Mhm.
that messes
Mhm.
with all of that. But I would love at some point to see Galen Merrick and Rom Coda in something.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be in the Skywalker saga. I just want to see them in something. Because I want Galen Merrick to get it so bad. And the thing is if they wouldn't have to even make all of that canon to me
Yeah.
if they just wanted to, like, show up with some Galen Merritt clones and something,
Yeah.
and just keep that specific part canon, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and knowing that the Lucasfilms games is like back.
So I bring that up because everyone like is talking about Battlefront. We're all forgetting there's another Star Wars game that is still constantly being supported by Disney and like is still ongoing.
Yeah.
Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yes.
SWOTOR, the basically like third KOTOR or whatever, however you want to look at it. Which with all this talk of Grey Jedi would be a really good time to introduce a Revanite and bring in Revan.
I just want you to know, I wrote Darth Revan down in my notes like 3 separate times.
Okay. I have a few issues.
Okay.
One, I think the Old Republic, the current like MMO, that's what we're talking about.
I think specifically they might just kind of ignore SWOTOR itself and focus more on like KOTOR, like telling the KOTOR 1 storyline.
Okay.
Which I think would be preferable because SWOTOR is so open because they have to make it so open for an MMO.
But also, so is KOTOR.
KOTOR 1 is, but not to the same extent as SWOTOR. Like, SWOTOR, like, some really big things happen and we're just, like, kind of sweeping them under the rug. Like, people fucking killing Hutts and, like, doing other bullshit. I killed a Hutt. I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
It's funny you mentioned the Old Republic because that's one big chunk of the Star Wars timeline we don't have anything of.
But we're gonna get something about it.
Let's hope. I know the writers of Game of Thrones, the TV series, is doing their own trilogy. They're doing 3 movies. And we've heard rumors that they are going to be set in
KOTOR.
In that timeline, the Old Republic, which would be very good to set up, the prophecy of 2, the rule of 2. Darth Bane is the only like Old Republic Sith we know of that's current canon. Revan is not canon.
Revan himself is not canon, no.
And I know of his Legends timeline. It's very confusing.
Yeah. Revan is a confusing character.
Revan is a Jedi who then turned Sith, who went back to being Jedi, who then fucked off to being whatever.
Yes, he switches sides a lot.
Well, what you just said is technically incorrect because we do not technically have a definitive answer for what Revan is canonically.
Yeah,
for those, he's supposed to be literally a player representation. And they went on to constantly say he and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, in Star Wars, in KOTOR 2, they basically nail him down a little bit more. We get confirmation that that Revan is a dude. Revan is a dude. His apprentice is a girl. The player character in KOTOR 2, and we get that Revan was light side, but his apprentice was dark side at the end, at the very end of it all.
So that's the canon. Because I've never played KOTOR.
It's the canon in SWOTOR. You actually go back and you basically visit a bunch of old Revan stuff, and you basically get the idea that there's a cult going around in the Empire. Yeah. Basically, the Sith acolytes are basically man, why do we have to be a dick? So they basically form a cult called the Cult of Revan, where they all become Revanites, and it's not just Jedi or not just Force users. It's everyone. They're so focused on Revan had a lot of companions who weren't Force users. So if you're not a Force user, you could still join our cult. And so a lot of people did because it's so cool. And we basically get the idea that Revan at the very end was this mix of basically a Grey Jedi. Was basically the light side's cool, you don't have to be a dick, but love is also pretty cool.
Yeah. It's interesting because Revan is just such a confusing character, and I think it'd be cool if they explored it a little bit, but they need to be super careful.
Yeah.
I would love to see, along with this trilogy, I would love to see a new game spawn out of it.
Oh yeah.
One that's a AAA title.
Yes.
Not a current action RPG.
Not an MMO, please.
Yeah, no, not an MMO. A single player action RPG that really gives us that Star Wars feel.
Let me turn this on its head a little bit. So what if they did KOTOR 1 as a movie, right? But it's from Bastilla's point of view, not Revan's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Bastila being the main character, who basically
Who I also think is a weak character.
Bastila is not a good character. There would have to be like a lot of like liberties taken because Bastila is
Poor character, yeah.
yes. If it helps anything, KOTOR 2 is an even worse mess than KOTOR 1. Literally, in KOTOR 2, like one of the big things is that you can have such a big influence on your friends that you can turn non-Force users into Force users because of how I think it's how powerful you are or something.
Weird. I don't like that.
I don't like it. There's only one time where I like it, and it's there's one girl you get, a handmaiden, basically like she's a non-Force user who trains under a Jedi, and there's implication that Jedi is also her mom.
Okay.
And that's the only one where I'm like, oh, you make sense. Because originally when I first played it, I only got her maxed out because I romanced her. And I was like, it makes sense that you'd become a Jedi. And like, your whole story is about it. But then you also have your Han Solo as a Jedi. And it's like,
yeah, and like
I
also,
don't know.
like, the thing about that, though, is it's going off of, hey, guess what? This is a video game. Create your party, customize it, make it so it's like a party that fits your needs.
As a video game, I love that mechanic. It's like one of my favorite mechanics, being able to turn your friends into Jedi if they're strong enough.
Yeah.
As a storytelling mechanic, that makes no sense.
I think if we go back to the Old Republic, one, revamp it.
We need, well, I mean, like, when was KOTOR first made? Like, really early 2000s, wasn't it? It needs a revamp.
Yeah, like, not just in the sense that we need to revamp, like, the stories, but we also need to revamp the structures, the settings, the history behind it.
I would be okay with them using, like, I really want them to use the setting of KOTOR, not necessarily the KOTOR story itself.
Yeah. I think we need, if we're going the Old Republic route, we need a setting that clues us in on this is before the Skywalker, because the Skywalker line has had such a huge impact on the world. We know. We want the canon, because the canons, or the legend stuff of what KOTOR was, is now just, hey, here are cool characters. This is something cool. Like, hey, do with this what you want. We don't have enough history behind it.
Yeah.
And we need that history, and we need that, this, like, idea of this is what the story... So if they want to take Bastila, that's fine, but maybe make her different.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, like, improve the characters, just because...
Bastila's a bad character.
Bastila's not a good character.
That's why I'm so glad Game of Thrones is on this. Like, the writers...
Oh, yeah. Game of Thrones know what they're doing. Also...
It's medieval.
Never seen an episode
which,
of
I mean...
Game of Thrones.
I haven't either. But the Knights of the Old Republic, it's like, if you're thinking medieval for Star Wars, this is where you're going to go, even though it's still space and lasers.
KOTOR to me is also a little more mature, so to KOTOR would definitely, like, if they're doing this trilogy or, like, TV series, whatever, like... This is for people our age.
Oh,
like kids should probably not watch this because it's gonna get fucking wild.
Because we just talked about how we didn't have a Star Wars. This will be probably our Star Wars.
KOTOR 2, your master literally loses her hand and you have a breakdown because you feel all the things she feels for some fucking reason.
Yeah,
in like 30 minutes into the game, and it's like, what the fuck is happening?
You guys were talking about making sure that we know this is before the Skywalker saga, and that would definitely depend on the setting, characters, things like that. And I think a good way of doing that is, well, before the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, there was a Sith Temple there. You could also take it even further and take us to Malachor, which is the home of the species Sith. Because they didn't start out as...
the Sith pureblood.
They didn't start out as a organization. Started out as a species, and so they're not canon, but they're legends. You can look up the legends look of them, but they
are in SWTOR. I have a character who is a Sith pureblood.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So I mean, it's I fucking love. They're super cool.
Is it confirmed that SWTOR is
SWTOR? Tell you what,
is SWTOR canon? No.
Okay.
It's KOTOR, and they were like, yeah, no, KOTOR's not canon. But if they brought back Lucasfilm's games, like the one big thing that they're known for is KOTOR.
Mhm.
Like that and like Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy and like that whole...
Which I highly doubt we'll get a revamp.
I doubt it. It was fun, but I doubt it.
If they go that route,
Mhm.
if we get another KOTOR game, I still want it to be,
Please no more MMOs.
yeah, no.
I'm so sick. I've been doing nothing but playing
It needs to be an open world
SWTOR
RPG.
for
Yeah,
months.
I agree.
I'm so sick of it.
Because, like, what I thought of was, like, a Witcher game.
Oh, yeah.
That would be perfect.
Simplified. Oh my god, simplified.
Yeah, yeah. But although if it was Star Wars, would you be okay if it was complex?
I mean, if it was complex in the term that Star Wars is complex.
Yeah.
Like, maybe, like, when you get to the lightsaber part, like, you have to, like, make a lightsaber. And, like,
I love that.
that's, like...
Good to gain components and things.
like,
That would be cool.
That'd be okay. It's the alchemy in The Witcher that, like, makes that difficult.
Mhm.
But if it were Star Wars, I think it'd just be, for me, a little more, like, accessible. But I think something like that, where you go to different planets, not just, like, 5 or 6, but, like, at least 10. Like, it doesn't have to be huge maps.
They solidified the galaxy map in SWTOR. The reason why I bring up SWTOR so much is because, like, through playing it, they've solidified a lot of things in the KOTOR universe that really make me go, you really had no reason to do that, but you did it anyways.
Mhm.
And on the one hand, maybe that's just BioWare being BioWare. They're super cool. They're a good gaming company. On the other hand, did we really need to know about this empire out there? Did we really need to know about this planet of Force users that honestly doesn't give a shit about anyone outside of the planet? Not really, but there's a whole culture in there, and I'm kind of into it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I in just, like, standard... Because I've thought about, like, what this game would be a lot.
Yeah.
Like, also, I'd like, classic Battlefront 2 styled space battles.
Mhm.
Oh,
well.
yes.
Oh, yes.
I'd like that to be a part. I'd like you to be able to be really in control of your team, choosing, like, you know, which one gets to be a pilot. Are you the pilot of it? That kind of thing. Because there's so much that they can do, but it has to be, like, so player, like, involved. Because I think that's what the original KOTOR's problem was it felt like these are the people you get, this is what these people do, this is probably what your people are going to do.
And it doesn't, like, at the end of KOTOR 1, it really doesn't matter who all you get, because you're going to use the 2 Jedi they gave you.
Yeah.
Because why would you use anyone else? Which is why KOTOR's concept of, like, you can turn everyone into a Jedi is interesting, because it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, bring characters based on personality, because they can all be Jedi anyway, so...
Like, characters I would like to see actually come back from the original KOTOR game. What's their name?
The Twi'lek girl, I forget her name.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking.
I love her.
And Zalbar.
Is it Zagbar or Bo? No, I'm thinking of SWTOR. Yeah, you're right, it's Zagbar.
Or Zalbar?
Zalbar?
Something.
The Wookiee.
Yeah, the Wookiee. Those are 2 characters who were really, really good. And it was really funny, because, like, the main character understood Wookiee.
Yeah.
Like, so when he was, like, just doing, like, the Wookiee voice, it had in parentheses what he was saying. And that was a super cool touch.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then again, your character also knew every language.
There's the dude you start with in KOTOR 1. I forget his name, but he's basically just like some soldier dude. He's like, "Hey, we got to go save Bastila," and then that's basically his whole like ending. If you play as a girl, which you don't normally do, at least I don't normally do, but I played as a girl and went dark side. He's a really interesting character, because the entire time he's like, you're going to the dark side, and he's like, "No, you shouldn't do this, but I'm going to follow you to the ends of the earth because I'm in love with you," and I killed him.
Damn, Brandon.
But it's because fuck him, and I hate
That's
him.
actually a really interesting
But it's a really interesting story of, like, if Revan's a girl and goes to the dark side, like, literally at the end of the game, he tells you, "I love you," and I stabbed him because I fucking hate him.
He's a hateable character.
I don't like him.
Depending.
He's also interesting. I would like to see more of that. Kyle, you look like you got something to say.
I don't know if I'm understanding this correctly or not, but wasn't the main character in KOTOR Revan?
Yes.
In KOTOR 1, it's Revan, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Gotcha.
For some reason, I was like, wait, he's talking like it's not. I'm confused.
Oh, no.
No, because there are 2 endings, and there's the light side ending,
And then there's the dark side ending. Light side ending is canon, by the way.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, in KOTOR 2, they give you like the general, like, if you don't have any data of the last game, I think it is, you go save your Han Solo party member, and he's like, yeah, don't you know about Revan? He was this dude who saved the whole galaxy, and you can change it. You can be like, actually, I think Revan is a girl who saved the galaxy, or actually, I'm pretty sure Revan's a dude who destroyed the galaxy, or I'm pretty sure Revan was a girl who destroyed the galaxy. What the fuck are you on about?
Yeah.
Or I don't care, which is my favorite option.
Yeah. And I think that's interesting,
Mhm.
and it's something that if they brought another game back, I wouldn't want it to be Revan. In fact, I don't think it'd be good to go that route at all. Just because the twist is like now.
Yes, I think what I would love is if they did the KOTOR 2 storyline, but take out all the things that you can't do from a story perspective. So there is no Revan in KOTOR 2. You are basically one of the Revanites, like you studied under Revan or whatever. So you've got a little bit of that in you. You have the whole storyline of like the Jedi Order kicking you out and all that, and you have Kreia, your master and whatever. And I think from there I would like for them to do something a little bit different, because not everyone knows the twist from that game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a few twists in that game, because like there's the twist of like, oh, you were a Revanite all along, but then there's a few other twists in there that I'm not gonna spoil, but they're like, oh, that explains that, or that's really cool. And the characters from KOTOR 2 I also like a lot more than the characters from KOTOR 1.
Also, if we get a KOTOR series or a game, one character I want them to set up is Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd be an important character to start setting up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not necessarily like him actually like physically being a character, but like this idea that he's a greater threat that's coming.
Mm-hmm. Well, Palpatine is the Emperor, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because in SWOTOR they bring up this whole like big thing in that the Emperor of the Empire is basically like a ghost who possesses people. And so there's like bits of him that possess people. So like if you play as a Sith warrior, you become the Wrath of the Emperor. And so you basically like have his force power. But then there's also someone else who's the voice of the Emperor. And then at some point, in one of the expansions, you become like the Emperor basically like tries to control you, and because you're the player character, you're strong enough that you can resist him. Mm-hmm. So they start
do it.
Because plot armor. But I really like the idea, because that implies that Emperor is basically Palpatine. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of shit in there that like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Huh. Interesting.
I feel like they could go into Plagueis.
Plagueis was Plagueis around during KOTOR?
I'm not sure. There's a novel on Plagueis, but that novel is no longer canon. Mm-hmm. But Plagueis is a real character because Palpatine talks to Anakin about him.
Yes.
What?
Plagueis would be just like a good way.
Canon.
I don't think any of them are.
So if there are any new, if you buy any new Star Wars novel, it will say canon.
Interesting.
So if it is, but they are still reprinting non-canon,
and they'll say legends,
things, and they say legends.
Gotcha.
But honestly, if you just go to Wikipedia and look up the book, it will tell you if it's canon or legend.
I don't like that you said that with a straight face. If you go to Wikipedia...
Well, I'm sorry, I'm on it quite often because I like to just read shit on there.
Oh, me too.
I am also on
because
there.
Because it's very...
way more than
like, you'll go to a character, and if it's a character like if you go to Luke Skywalker, who has a legends and a canon background now, they'll have a tab. So you can go to his Legends timeline, and then you go to his canon timeline.
Oh,
canon is,
Skywalker and Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy.
Yeah. So, you go to, Mara Jade. She's only on the Legends tab. She's not canon. So stuff like that. It's a great resource. But going back to the video game, it just kind of sounds like the game we're wanting is, a Mass Effect game with, Star Wars. In the Star Wars world. That's what I would love.
Well, I would love first of all, just throwing something out there, I would love if they did maybe something similar to Mass Effect, maybe in terms of party members and whatever, where there are no Force users.
Yeah.
You are all just regular dudes in the galaxy.
That would be interesting.
Or at least the player character is not a Force user.
Okay.
So if you have a Force user with you, I do think that would be kind of cool, because SWOTOR never does that. But I really like the idea of like you're just a dude in the galaxy, and on the one hand, you might think, well, that kind of sucks because you don't get the lightsaber or the Force, which is like the two most iconic things. But think about it: you're just a regular dude going up against some of these Force users. What the fuck?
I mean, we are going to be getting a lightsaber game later this year. Respawn is developing the next Star Wars game, and it's called Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, where you play as a Jedi who escaped Order 66, and you're trying to survive.
That's really cool.
Which sounds very cool, and that will be announced later. That'll be shown in April, and we'll get more of it at Star Wars Celebration.
And if that's canon, everything we're saying now could be bullshit.
Yeah, that's true.
It most likely will be canon.
Yeah. I think you have a good idea. I like the idea of it being a choice that the player gets, like whether or not they would be a Force user or whether or not they wouldn't. Like I'd like there to be a moment where they're like, "Hey, you can use Force powers, dude. Like this is a big deal." And like you can either be like, "I can," or you can be like, "Nah, I can't."
And they're like, "Oh yeah, my mistake."
And they're like, "No, it says it's like no, I can't."
SWTOR kind of brought it up because one of the player stories that you can play as is the Imperial Agent, and the Imperial Agent like basically answers a question of like, in a world in which the Sith and the Jedi are running rampant, what the fuck does a non-Force user matter? Why do you matter? Like, what can you do that no one else that like they can't do? And the answer is you can assassinate Jedi and Sith, and your whole thing is that you're playing as a character who's literally trained to kill Sith. And you got, at least in my case, I got so bad the Sith said, you need to be mind controlled because we can't deal with you anymore.
See, and I just realized we've been talking about how we haven't had a Star Wars video game without the main character being a Force user. We have. Star Wars Battlefront 2, Iden Verso.
I guess, that's true.
We technically talk about that. And honestly, I really enjoyed playing.
She's great.
That game. I enjoyed playing with that character. I think that entire story was great, as I said before.
I'm waiting for it to go on sale again. Like every like few months, it'll go on the PlayStation Store for like $5.
Oh yeah, it goes really cheap. And I'm just...
Is it on Origin? Can I pick it up on PC?
Yes, you can on PC.
Well, then I gotta wait for that to go on sale.
Yeah.
No.
I don't own it for PC.
But I think...
Look up on Steam, honestly.
I bought Minecraft like 5 times. I'll buy... Like, after Minecraft and Skyrim, I honestly don't give a shit how many times I buy a game.
I have been so tempted so many times to buy Skyrim on the Switch. That's a whole different story, though.
I never played Skyrim.
That's okay.
I've only beaten the first dragon, but it's okay.
That's okay. It's okay.
We don't need to go on another episode.
Something I'm really wanting from one of these, because Rian Johnson's also making another trilogy. So we have 2 different trilogies in the works.
Yeah, so there's another fucking trilogy going on.
There's 6 movies we're getting, and I'm super pumped about. But
also, we need to finish up. One, we need to finish up the current trilogy, but we also need to finish up this quote unquote like backstory trilogy.
Han Solo.
On the Han Solo movies?
Like with the Rogue One Han Solo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Han Solo definitely leaves on a cliffhanger because I want to know what happens to Kira.
Oh my God.
I want to know what Maul's doing.
I think it'll be a Maul movie.
And I really hope it is. Darth Maul's my favorite character.
That brings up a question that I want to talk about. So, if they were to do another, like, basically solo movie for any character in the Star Wars universe, who would you want it to be?
I mean, we can all just stand up right now and say Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah.
Is it okay if I have a 6-way tie?
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of characters because as much as I want Obi-Wan, I want Qui-Gon.
I was about to say I want Qui-Gon.
I want Qui-Gon. I would be interested in seeing a Yoda story from when he was really young.
I don't.
There's a comic book that
is there a comic book about that?
There's a comic book not when he's really young, but it is before Episode 1, and it's kind of set during when it's his time on Dagobah, but he's like having flashbacks.
I want a movie where it's just Mace Windu, Plo Koon, Kate Mundo, and Kit Fisto stuck in an elevator.
What about Yarl Poof?
I do want a Mace Windu movie. I'd really like a Mace Windu movie.
I would want an Ahsoka movie.
I was about to say an Ahsoka movie would be really cool. I don't know if I want it to be live action or animated because I think I'd prefer animated. I'm
actually gonna pimp this out for the 9 of you who are listening. If you also want a Mace Windu movie, there is a man on YouTube by the name of Star Wars Theory He casted a fan film, high budget, everything, like Kickstarter, hit $40,000. Legitimately, he needs more funding for the second part of the Mace Windu fan film. First part was very good.
Is that legal?
It is, because actually, though, he got into not legal trouble, but a legal conversation with Disney. You can make fan films. You can make fan films about whatever you want.
I guess there are.
Speaking of which, there is an amazing Darth Maul one that's like,
Speaking of which, we need a Kickstarter.
which is like 20 minutes long, and it's so good.
I would also be interested in seeing a Darth Maul movie.
Yeah, I think that's the one. I think that's the next Solo movie that needs to happen, because Solo leaves off on Kira going to Maul. Plus, we don't know how Maul gets to his point in Rebels. We know how he gets from Clone Wars to Solo, because there's a comic that covers. I actually own it if you guys ever want to read it. It's Darth Maul, son of Dathomir, and he escapes Palpatine's. He gets taken by Palpatine when he takes over Mandalore, and so he escapes. Tries to go back to his homeworld, Dathomir, but they follow him there, and he has to run off. But
speaking of Mandalore, we're getting the Mandalorian. Apparently, for the Disney...
The live-action TV show on the Disney Plus service.
I'm actually really interested in seeing that.
I am as well.
There's also the Cassian Andor prequel to Rogue One. There's a series that's going to keep going.
We have so many things coming!
I love Cassian Andor. I thought he was a great Rogue One character. Yeah. I loved his accent. It was great.
I am going to be... 100% honest with you.
Okay.
Throughout the course of this entire conversation, there are two shows I have not seen. That being the Clone Wars and Rebels.
Oh my god!
Which is why I've been quiet anytime you're talking about those two, because I have no clue about either of them.
The Clone Wars is the entirety is on Netflix. Watch it. It's so good.
And sorry, that was probably really loud.
Actually, not as loud as you might think.
We're getting the last season.
Yes,
the last season is coming.
Because
now that was loud.
So the last Clone Wars, the last season of Clone Wars was canceled, and so they told like the writer of the Clone Wars said what the last season would entail, and so that last season is finally coming to the Disney Plus.
Echo will live to fight another day.
And Ahsoka,
just fucking ready.
Ahsoka returns to help out the Jedi. It'll show how Rex escapes Order 66.
It has the squad of clone troopers who are just leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else that I can't remember now.
The Republic Commando?
No, that have their own personalities.
Nice try.
The Republic Commando? Wait, no.
I don't remember.
I cannot remember what they're called now. But they're supposedly the ones that come to help rescue Echo.
We're just clones, sir. We're meant to die.
Not
to me.
But there's like a specialist who's like a sniper, a specialist who's like a tech person. There's one dude who's literally just fucking massive. I don't know.
I don't know what.
Actually, the more you're saying this, the more I'm thinking. Yeah, I think this is the crew you play as in Republic Commando.
I'm gonna look it up.
It might be, but yeah, we'll get the last season of that. Rebels is not on Netflix, but
you own the last season.
I own the.
I just need to find the first 4.
Yeah, so I own the last season, but I don't own the first 3 because I watched it on a friend's account. But it's very good. You can, I don't know. I guess you could pirate it, but I don't want to say that.
Whoa! Bleep that out.
What time is it? 1:08.
You could do that, but it's not recommended. You can just buy it on DVD, I guess, or just wait till the Disney Plus service comes on. It's only 4 seasons, so it's shorter. It's so good. Darth Maul's in it.
When is the Disney Plus service coming out?
There's no announcement of that yet.
Between Star Wars and Marvel, it seems like I just have to get this service.
Of course.
Like, they're basically just bullying me. Yeah. Like, being like, oh, that's fine if you don't want to have it, but you're just not going to know the Star Wars stuff. Yeah. Oh, you like Loki, kid? Well, here's a Loki series.
I would also like to see them, like, put stuff from, like, prior. Yeah. Of course, they're going to have a lot of.
It was the Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch.
But I'd also like to see them do like the older Star Wars shows, the older Marvel shows, stuff like that.
Yeah. I guarantee we get a date and a price at Well, we might get it at Star Wars Celebration. I don't know.
I'm
doubt
worried
it.
that it's going to be like 30 a month.
Ooh, 30 a month.
I don't think it'll be that.
I don't think so. I think it will compete with Netflix.
So
Yes.
like 14.99.
I'm.
14,
I think
10
14.
maybe, 15.
I'll get it for like 6 months and then binge everything and then wait for something new to pop up and then I'll
Yeah.
get it again.
You'll have the Mandalorian. You'll have the
Just do the
Loki
7-day
series.
trial over and
You'll
over
have the
again.
Rogue One Cassian Andor thing. You'll have
so much.
so much to watch.
Oh, I'm gonna need a whole summer for this. What if they just when is Disney or Star Wars
Celebration?
Yeah.
It is in June,
Fuck.
and this year it's in Chicago.
I was gonna say if it's in
Let me look up.
I was gonna say if it happens in April, I want to throw a July release date out there. Prediction time for Disney Disney streaming service.
I believe that's not coming until December or January.
I don't know if it's coming out in June. It's going to be a lot longer. They won't go for a summer release
Yeah,
date.
so this year it is. Oh, it is in April. It's April 11th to the 15th. It's in
We're a little-
McCormick Place.
Actually, I take that back. If we're in April, that means we're still in the second quarter of the year. April, May, June. I guess July's out there, but I want to say August. I
If
want to
we don't get a
August out
teaser
there.
at this day, I'm just gonna die.
And it's in Chicago, guys.
Oh yeah, there's also the possibility that they're just not going to say anything.
Should we check to see how much tickets are?
Yes.
It's Disney, so it's probably expensive.
It is.
How much is it, Bryson?
Well, for a Monday adult, it's $75.
Oh, you know what? I don't need to go.
Disney. What the hell, man?
They're sold out of. So we can only go Monday
We can only go
because
Monday.
they're sold out of all the other.
You know, I don't need to go. $75 for a Monday.
No.
Yeah.
That's sad.
But I'm getting the feeling we should probably start to wrap this up.
You got any more topics on your list?
No, we pretty much covered all of them. And I didn't even have to bring them up like topic by topic.
Mhm.
Yeah, it came naturally.
I think the perfect thing to end on this is if you can see one thing in episode 9, what do you want to see?
Oh, that's
That's a hard question.
Because for me, I want to be right. I want it to be Star Wars Episode 9, The Chosen One.
I want a tease. Like if they're like that words. If they're just like, here's a trailer, I would like the trailer to just tease
Mm-hmm.
an old character.
Mm-hmm.
So Ahsoka, Qui-Gon Jinn, even though it's not going to be Qui-Gon Jinn, I just love him. I'd be okay if Darth Maul, but I don't think it'll be Darth
No.
Maul.
He died.
He's yeah.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
Fucking Anakin.
Anakin, I would,
Well,
because we still have this like a big thing that I want to see wrapped up in episode 9 is Ben's relationship with Anakin, because obviously there's no actual relationship there, but he idolizes Vader,
Anakin is a Force ghost.
so I want to see there be some connection there, but I also think that the main antagonist, like we were talking about earlier, who's going to be the bad guy, I think it's going to be General Hux. He's just been bullied so much up until this point. I think he's at a breaking point.
yeah.
My one wish list item
Mm-hmm.
is to see that recognition of using both sides, that fine line walk between the light and the dark side, because that is the balance that is stated, and I want that to become true.
Y'all ever heard of Force Judgment?
Yes.
Yes.
That. I want that. I want Force Judgment.
What is that?
So basically, Force Judgment is like light side Force Lightning.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
It's like it's Force Lightning, but it's light side, and it's I don't think it works as effectively. Like I don't think it hurts as much.
No, it doesn't.
Mhm.
Plo Koon you did it in the comic.
Plo Koon does it. I think Yoda is able to do it in one of the Legends stuff now. I don't think he ever does it in the movies. I'm sure Mace Windu could, but I mean, I just like Mace Windu. I just like
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson.
It's-
Go see Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. Sorry, go see Captain Marvel. Samuel L. Jackson's in it.
I know there's a common like thing that people think lightsaber colors actually mean something, but there's actually no canon or I don't think there's a Legends diagram either of what each color means.
We can assume that like
There's certain things thrown out there. I do have like a general knowledge of like this is what this color means, but I'm pretty sure that's all based on like fan bullshit.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
fan
absolutely.
stuff.
I'm
None of
pretty
it's-
sure there's nothing
Yeah.
canon that's like, oh, if you use a blue lightsaber, it's because you're strong.
Yeah.
Where really it's just like they use a blue lightsaber because they like the color blue.
yeah, because like there's I know like there was like a lot of the talk that green is like the representation of a master,
Mhm.
but then we see a lot of Padawans use green lightsabers.
So in like the fanon, because this is not canon, blue is like you're super strong with
You're a knight.
lightsaber skills, knight.
Mhm.
Green means consular, more
Yes.
force-based
Okay,
user rather
gotcha.
than master user. Yellow is sentinel, mix of the two. Purple is light side, dark side. Orange is strength, is like strength in the dark side. Like think of it as like the green on the dark side. Red is is Sith. Yeah.
Was it or? Because I'm
At
starting to think red may have been something like in the higher up of Jedi that was then taken in like a Sith
Mhm.
connotation.
I know it's weird because red crystals are weird in the canon because at one point they were like, oh, these are just like fake
Abused?
artificial crystals, and then they were like, oh, these are abused crystals,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, they're just regularly grown crystals, and it's like, well, which one is it?
I think the regularly stated canon is they're crystals that have been tainted by the dark side.
Yeah. There's a gold crystal. There's only one gold lightsaber ever used by one dude, which isn't canon anymore. And I think that one is like purity. It's the idea of like he was like so pure just in general.
Okay.
There's a white one which is used by Ahsoka, so I guess that's canon. The white
Yeah,
lightsaber.
white is canon. Those are just cleansed of the dark
There's
side.
the dark saber, which is an artificially created lightsaber. In SWOTOR, you can get dark core crystals.
So the dark saber, as in the one Maul uses in the Clone Wars.
Does Maul use one in Clone Wars?
There is a dark saber.
I know it happens in Clone
And
Wars.
it's-
Dark sabers are canon.
Yeah, because there's one in Clone Wars, and it's made from the first Mandalorian Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of canon stuff because people like black lightsabers.
Yeah. Just
Um,
something I want to bring up. We have 3 people who are confirmed in episode 9 that currently do not have titles as characters. Naomi Aki, Richard E. Grant, and Kerry Russell are all set to
So
have.
Carrie Russell, yeah. So a lot of people have connected her with the wife of Luke. What is her name in Legend?
We said it earlier.
Mara Jade.
Mara Jade.
Mara
A lot of people think it'll be her because there's some art in her that are like side by side, and she looks very similar to the character.
And also, I've heard Matt Smith.
Matt Smith,
Matt Smith,
the Doctor.
the Doctor.
Really?
I don't know what the hell Matt Smith is going to do in this movie.
Maybe he'll
Oh
be.
God! Please don't give him a English
Don't give him a
accent.
lightsaber.
Make him Imperial. I don't want him to
I
use an
think he
English
will-
accent.
I think he would be Imperial.
He
Could
has
you-
that.
I can't take him. On the one hand, he'll be like Imperial because he's British and like that works. On the other hand, I don't think I can take him seriously
Yeah, it's
because
just
like anytime he
when's
does
gonna
anything,
pull
I'm
out
just
a
gonna
fez?
think you wear a fez. Fez
I don't
is
know.
cool.
I just want to see the movie happen.
Naomi Aki, throwing it out there. Ahsoka, no, I don't know.
Possible.
I don't
Oh?
know that one. I'm gonna look
On
for it
God?
really quick.
She, to me, from the picture I saw of Naomi Aki, I could see it.
I don't.
I can see
She
it.
has the facial structure
Okay. Okay.
to me.
Ahsoka. That's the one thing I wanted. I wanted a character of old, and Ahsoka technically.
Oh yeah, she has the facial structure of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
You want to tie in this new trilogy with some old shit? This is how you do it, boys.
Yeah. So when
Even as a Force ghost, like that's the other thing we didn't consider is like a character could show back up as like a Force ghost or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I doubt Darth Maul would because it's fucking Darth Maul. But
Is a Sith. Yeah. Well, it was a Sith. No, I don't think.
I don't know who Richard E.
is Ahsoka dead? I have not seen Rebels.
I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
sure.
I'd say whisper it in my ear, but I got headphones on, so.
Yeah. Once you guys see Rebels, we have just a podcast on
Rebels.
She has a lot. She has a lot going for her. She's a great character. She's my second favorite Star Wars character. Maul being my first. They have a great. They meet in Rebels, and it's cool. And you guys should watch it as soon as possible.
I gotta watch Clone Wars first.
Yeah, watch Clone Wars first. That's on Netflix. You have no right not to watch that yet.
I watched Clone Wars as a kid. I watched Clone Wars as a kid, but there's just like a lot of holes in my knowledge of it where I'm just like,
And
I don't recall that. I know Ahsoka exists.
Fact about the Clone Wars is they were not released in chronological order.
Mm-mm.
So they're released randomly. So if you can look up online the chronology of those episodes, and it'll take you to like season 1 and then season 4.
It's weird.
Why?
Why? Well, George Lucas. That's why. Thank him.
Well, I mean, he
That
did it with the
sounds
movie,
hostile.
so
Yeah. So
I mean, from a storytelling perspective, there might be a reason why you would want to release information outside of chronological order.
Well, what's weird is there are episodes before the movie, The Clone Wars. So the Clone Wars movie started.
Mm-hmm.
There are episodes before that movie even starts.
Why did they give Anakin a Padawan?
I don't know.
When did they give Anakin? Like, in terms of, like, the overall timeline, around what time does Anakin actually get Ahsoka as
It
his
has to
Padawan?
be at the beginning.
Oh, it's near the beginning of the Clone
Mhm.
Wars.
The beginning of the Clone Wars? Isn't he still a Padawan at that time?
So there's something in a book somewhere that discusses why he can become her master.
Yeah.
And I
There
don't
was some
remember where it
bullshit
is or what it's
explanation.
called. It's because there's a rule in the Jedi Order
Oh.
something that allows them to pick
I think
take her.
I think the canon version is they were running out of Jedi, and so they tried to like Ahsoka was too young to really be a Padawan. She wasn't supposed to be able to be a Padawan yet, and they started to shove Padawans through to other Jedi Knights so that they could get more Jedi Generals. I believe that is the canon explanation, but I'm not sure.
I don't know if that's it, but it's the best thing.
I don't doubt that that's the reason. But God, is that...
Lazy.
We don't have enough Jedi, so we're gonna give our Padawans. The kids have to teach the younger kids.
Yeah. Hey.
And this is why the Republic fell.
I mean, it's better than the SWTOR world where the Grand Master of the Jedi Order has a kid and is just like, this is my son. He's not a Force user, but I have a son, and is openly like all about that. But the moment you start a romance with anyone, she's all like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And it's like, oh, fuck you, Satele Shan. Sorry, I'm bitter. And now all is quiet.
Now all is quiet. Now all
I
is
think
quiet.
all Star Wars that.
I think
We've covered a lot of ground.
we covered. This is one of our longest episodes.
this is our. I think this is our longest episode ever.
There's
An
a
hour and a
lot of
half?
Star Wars.
Probably.
Yeah, it's about an hour and 22 minutes.
So if you don't like Star Wars, I'm not sorry.
If you don't like Star Wars, click off this video right now.
Thank you for watching thus far. However, if you like the bullshit we do, please subscribe. Do know that Kyle is just a guest.
Now.
For now.
He's also the manager.
I'm also the manager.
That's true.
I'm the producer, the manager.
Where's the money that you've put into the show? Because I think I'm the only one who has.
Yeah, you're not a producer.
I'm pretty sure I'm the producer.
This is where I do finger guns and back away.
You're right. We'll just we'll cross out the receipt that says Brandon. We'll just like cross it out and write Kyle, but the Y is backwards.
Basically, I'm gonna do all of the background stuff until they decide to give me my own show.
Oh, you're gonna join us for cooking. That's why you got the chef hat.
A bitch can cook.
Also,
I'll be back for the cooking.
We need to do
episodes.
the episode about the worst food in Indy.
We
Yes.
do.
I want to do that. Really.
I will be
We
here
also-
for that, hell or high water.
I think our next episode will be
Captain Marvel and
probably
in-game stuff.
Captain Marvel and in-game stuff.
Yep, because this
Again.
weekend I'm watching Captain Marvel, so
And
we're
we
gonna
received,
see it. We're gonna talk about it,
and we
then
saw a new in-game
we
trailer.
got a new Endgame trailer we want to talk about, which
Oh,
apparently Russo brothers confirmed there's some fake shit in there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Of
surprised
course
if
there is.
all of it was
Them
fake.
bastards.
It's all bullshit. We've seen the first 15 minutes, maybe.
You know, I
of
love
the
them, but I
entire
also
movie.
hate them.
Well, with that being said, I think we're done here. So,
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Bryson.
I'm
Kyle, go.
I'm Kyle, and you can't see it, but I'm blinking twice for help.
I'm not special anymore.